thank you for holding this. It's amazing to me when you get this many people in the room and you start talking to people, just the energy and the excitement and the love for this country. So thank you. Because everybody hear me? I'm going to get too far away. Over the last year, we have had an incredible year. And I don't use the word incredible really in a good way in the past year. We have seen a lot of things happen to this great country that should not be happening. And we have seen a steady decline, especially in District 4, from the leadership that we have had. And so for the past year, I have really sat back and have been waiting for someone to step up that I could support and that I could feel comfortable with in really helping support to run in District 4 against Hank Johnson. And I realized as an American citizen and fellow Georgian and someone who has felt the deep impact of what's happening in our economy that I could wait no longer. And so I decided, and I think my husband about fell off the chair when we sat down one evening, and I said, you know what, I think it's time for me to serve. And we talked about it, and as everyone knows, and I've joked around with a few of you, there's a little bit of insanity in doing this. But this is the year. This is the year 2010 that a true conservative can take District 4. I don't know when the last time that I didn't stand up. I'm very stubborn. And I don't know when the last time I didn't stand up and realize that we can do what people say can't be done. As the youngest of 10, that put me in a position of not being spoiled. I was a houseplant. As long as I was fed and watered, everything was okay. And literally, that's accurate. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. My stepfather, as Kelly mentioned, was a World War II B-17 navigator, and he instilled in me an incredible work ethic, an incredible love for this country. We have a Constitution to uphold, and more importantly, we have American citizens who are hurting. As a small business owner for the past 4.5 years, I have been focused on creating jobs and helping small businesses grow. There's not a day that goes by that I don't talk to someone who's been out of work for 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months. This has got to end. The congressional leader today has forgotten who he served. And I think when Kelly stood up and said, I was running against Hank Johnson, I could have ended right there with my speech. He has forgotten what the backbone of this country is, and that is small businesses. That is where job growth will come from. He should have been focused for the past 3.5 years on sustainable job growth, not bailing out big businesses. A prime example of this is the unjust tax that is being forced down right now, which I like to call the health control bill. This is not true health care reform. Every small business owner that I have spoken with over the past 3 weeks as I've been going out and meeting with constituents has said, top of mind, they're worried. They're worried that if this bill passes, that they will have to lay off people. They're worried that if this bill passes, that the ones that already provide health care will no longer be able to because they will not be able to afford the tax and they will have to do more with less. That is an unjust tax. This representative has voted to spend, and spend some more. We have to say enough is enough. Many of you as well have noticed that the Democrat ticket is continuing to grow. Hallelujah. They are going to do for us what we now don't need to do. They will run an ugly campaign and expose the corruption and the truth and the fact of the matter that everyone on that Democrat ticket has been part of the status quo and the continual decline of District 4. And that will allow this year a conservative to come in and fix it. I'm excited to work with each of you, and my number one priority will be to create jobs. We have to look and do innovative programs to create sustainable job growth. I'm not talking about stimulus funds. I'm talking about working with small businesses, creating, like venture capitalists do, programs and funding programs to be able to launch innovation, working with our higher education programs to be able to let those students, when they come out, have jobs and create innovation. I'm talking about getting Georgians back to work. Next month, you'll see a very big announcement from my campaign that I will be putting my money where my mouth is to help you get jobs as we campaign as well. Next, I don't know why, and I find it very incredibly disrespectful for any congressional leader to vote for amnesty for illegal aliens. We have got to respect our laws, and those who have come to this country and broken those laws and disrespected our process should not be here. When money is spent and paychecks are sent home, that money is spent in the communities. What's happening now with illegal aliens is that money is being sent abroad, and it creates a further burden on our economy that we cannot sustain. So we cannot support legislation that creates amnesty for someone who has already broken the law. I will not tolerate the disrespect that this Congress has done and the people who have come to this country legally and followed our process. We know that these individuals don't pay taxes, so speaking of taxes, I know I have a ton of huge fair tax supporters in this room. We have to level the playing field. Our current tax code, as you all know, is not set up to be equal for all. It is a huge burden on the poor and the middle class, and that has got to end. At that note as well, no new taxes. And I've seen the definition of tax. I don't think anyone in D.C. needs to ask what the definition of tax is. Instead of auditing the American people, let's audit Congress. Looking at congressional spending, the audacity of this Congress to spend $787 billion on a stimulus package and not be able to report where every penny of it went and what was provided from it is so incredibly wrong. Could you imagine if a publicly traded company did this? If a Google or a Bank of America or someone like that, the media would crucify those executives, there would be charges, and they would be put in jail. Quite frankly, some of our congressional leaders for what's been going on, there needs to be filed charges. Near and dear to my heart is education. We cannot afford blanket programs like No Child Left Behind. What works in Boise, Idaho